if one of you guys would like to give a 200-word summary of what's been going on in the campaign. Because we weren't here last week, so maybe people need more of a recap than usual. And I will reconvene in 2 minutes, and we'll get this party started.
So we have been spending some time in the realm of an ancient red dragon, one of the living gods, as it were. And we met some people, one of which is still kind of with us, but he might be on his way out the door. Anyway, we ruined everything.
As we do.
Yeah. No, what had happened was... Go ahead.
I was going to say, hold up, back up. We ruined everything?
Yeah. Everybody was involved in that travesty. In some form or fashion.
I seem to recall it differently, but continue.
I seem to recall Destil not being there, so he couldn't bail us out.
I don't think there was anybody for him to stab in that situation.
Well, what had happened was... there's this little kobold, right, who was trying to say that we killed this ancient red dragon's daughter, and that was clearly a lie, even though we kind of wanted to, like a year ago.
For clarification, this kobold was not Birdie.
Yeah, no, I mean,
continue.
all kobolds that are not Birdie don't have a name. Let's be real.
I mean, to be fair, I've heard you call Birdie the kobold, so...
It's true. I have.
Continue.
So diplomatic relations between the party and the Red Dragon are, I think, charitably set at a snarl. And we beat feet out of there, but not before destroying a weapon, ? That can, like, mind control dragons, and these dragons might actually, these living god dragons might actually be robots.
I thought we settled on flesh golem.
Robots. Let's go with robots for now. And so we were just leaving, and when we pick things up in game, our party will be well on its way out of the Red Dragon Kianjiao's realm and off to mountaineer pastures. I think that's probably the most succinct, 100-word summary that we've ever given in the history of this channel.
I think the most important thing to take away from it is Adrex went on an extended test drive of a dragon.
It's true.
Shook the wheels out as they were.
Yeah, no, he took a test.
Drove it a little too hard.
Yeah, might have broken the speed limit a little bit. You know, did a couple of curve
No, the real
checks.
question is, do they still have your license back at the dealership?
Oh, do they? Boy, do they. Adrex is not going back to that dealership for a very long time. If ever.
Well, we broke the garage.
God, we broke so many things.
Yeah, no, that's basically our party's MO. Find something cool and then figure out how to break it.
I broke the garage on purpose.
God.
Most of our disruption is random and unplanned.
Yes, this is all very true. This was premeditated destruction.
Adrex's insurance is probably going to go up. We're going to have to test that. The calls with his insurance company. No, you don't understand.
I was drunk.
Friends don't let friends drunk drive a dragon.
All right.
Now I'm a little sad we did destroy
all of that.
Yeah, me too. For some reason, Peanut bought me these like stupid ghetto tea bags that don't have strings on them.
What?
And like, there's a box of like 100 of these that I'm working my way through, and the tea bags.
Pulling them out?
They're like connected And so you have to like tear one off of the next one, and they come in pairs for some reason. And every time I try to tear it, like one of the tea bags gets ripped and tea goes everywhere. So I'm
Are
like,
you sure you're not supposed to just use 2 of them?
Yeah.
well, that's what I started doing, and I noticed literally no difference in the tea. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
taste any stronger. So that's it. That's my story. That's the biggest problem I have in my life at this precise moment.
You should get loose leaf tea.
No.
I don't actually know what the difference is. It's just that every time I talk about tea, somebody says that to me.
Yeah, I
So
know.
I thought maybe it would be helpful.
We have at least one tea snob in our midst. I'd have to get a tea ball. Okay.
Oh, I have one of those.
Is that like a bath bomb?
Yeah.
Get the
a
one
little
that's shaped like the Death Star.
bit. There's an 80 or 90% chance that if I told my wife, hey, we need to get a tea ball, she would immediately say, ooh, can we get the one on ThinkGeek that's shaped like a Death Star?
I think a friend of mine gave me that, plus some Earl Grey, plus like the Star Trek box set at some point for birthday.
What they give you? They give you Star Wars like tea things.
No,
and
not the just a normal T-ball, not the Death Star one.
Okay, because I was about to say that's like
That'd
like
be really good. That's a good joke.
that's mixing your that's mixing.
That would
your...
be a good joke though. I like that one. I'm gonna have to save that one for somebody.
Yeah.
I think Brick hates both equally.
I don't really hate either one. I was never big into Star Trek, except I'm a big fan of Jean-Luc Picard, and by extension, The Next Generation. But that's only because Jean-Luc Picard is dreamy. Adrex, you're the only person in the assembled company who has been to the far north.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to the south? Like, what was your travel like? Coming through this narrow pass, through these jagged badlands, and then down this sheer 100-some-odd mile long cliff face down into the swamps.
Oh man.
Shot him out of a big slingshot.
He had a buddy at the base with a big catcher's mitt.
Can that be the answer?
I mean,
There's 2 white
probably
hands.
really slow, really harrowing. Probably got lost a few times, but Adrex being Adrex, that's not a thing with him. Being lost is just a new adventure, so...
So, there are many paths down from the mountains, but many of them are treacherous because there are lots of colonies of things like goblins, kobolds, and other nasty things in the dark places. And several of these places would also connect to the Underdark, which is just... I'm not sure if you guys have ever been.
Nah, never been there.
Shortcut.
But not the nicest of places. So right now the plan is to march north and see what you can see and find a way up. And Adrex has assured all of you that the journey is going to be very long and very harrowing, but that's fine because getting lost is just another adventure.
What was Student 9 planning to do when he parted ways with us?
Student 9 has more business in the south to tend to.
Mm-hmm.
But you parted on amicable terms. Just like you did with Captain Eyes and Bronzel Griffinheart and several other characters in the past.
Yeah, it's just the problem is we have to write a letter to Captain Eyes, don't we?
We don't have to.
Nobody's forcing you.
Yeah, but eventually he's gonna come calling.
That's what we passed his message along. Past that, it's his fault.
I love how Birdie can rationalize anything.
Yeah, I guess just extrapolating it on it a bit more. Adrex's adventure from the south was probably before he was a quote unquote ranger. So that's why he got lost and went on a new adventure and then got lost again and thus new adventure and eventually by sheer repetitive force he just made his way through at some point in Adrex fashion.
Okay.
And has told the party thus to expect going north to be the same way.
Like, I just picture Adrex falling off into the ocean and having to swim.
So, Raazu, are you taking it upon yourself to write this letter to Captain Ice?
Well, Red's the one who's got the stuff, so that's up to him if he's gonna let Raazu
Sure,
write it.
I'll give you one of the pieces of parchment. Does it require a special quill or just the parchment?
I think there was a special quill you have to set on fire.
Yeah, he gave you a quill as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll let Raazu have a piece of parchment in the quill.
Like, if you're gonna write this, just write it in such a way that it makes us look good. Like just tell him we've passed his message along, but to ask for the favor at his own peril, because the dragon was an asshole. Which is true. All of that is true.
Dragon was an asshole.
He was only chaotic evil.
Yeah, obviously Raazu's planning this out before she actually, lights this thing on fire and starts writing, but...
Okay, well, at some point during the session, why don't you go ahead and actually write the letter? And then you can deliver it to me.
Sure.
And then I will update Captain I's disposition towards you, depending on how gently you let him down.
Sure, we'll do that. While I'm, we can continue while that's happening.
How are you guys approaching the north? Are we following up the Trust Ends River here?
Where did we start? Question.
You were way over here. I mean, you've got weeks and weeks ahead of you.
Like, we should probably, like, go to the dam and then maybe go up?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Let's see, equipment. I'm just check how many arrows I have. I've got plenty.
Traveling across the grasslands towards the river. You're far to the... Are we traveling to the dam here? Like all the way through the woods and then north from there?
I mean...
We're just using it as like, we're going in that general direction.
I don't know. Like,
I mean, Magdra Dam would be a good place to stop for to provision ourselves.
see, I don't have any.
And then like this, you think? Or should we go like this?
Following the river would probably be the easiest thing.
Where's our eventual goal?
The eventual goal is to get to these marshlands, the base of this cliff, and then from there, a way up to the top towards Wizard's Folly will present itself. The only person with any actual information on this journey is Adrex, and he likes getting lost.
It's not entirely true.
It's not entirely false either.
No.
We could just also
Concentrated effort to go north since he has more ability than he originally did.
we could skirt. You want to skirt the forest or go through it?
Well, I thought we were going to the dam, right? So we'd have to go through the
Well, that's the
forest.
question: is do we have to go to the dam?
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You guys can forage and provision yourself along the way. Going through the actual woods is probably a more dangerous journey. Less visibility, more fairy bullshit. But going across the grasslands means more like roving packs of goblinoids and things like that.
If we go that way, I feel like Raazu will be in a better mood when we get there. She'll get to kill some orcs.
So like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that is the best line I've ever drawn.
It's a pretty good line. Like, you got it right,
Right
right on top
In
of
Mario Party, that would have gotten you like a 96.
I mean, you've seen my circles, so.
Nodal, do you judge everything in life by what score it would give you in Mario Party?
Yeah, why?
Who doesn't?
Okay.
Finish.
There's one text file I still need to open. Okay. Are we predominantly traveling by day?
That's fine with me, but I do get
Makes no difference to red.
Okay.
my passive perception is like 16 at night. I mean, a day, not because it's -5 if you have disadvantage, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's 16.
The grasslands north of the forests here. As you come in between, as you can see the mountains off to the north here. There are intermittent ruins in this region that are slightly more intact than ruined structures you've seen throughout the rest of the continent. Most of the time when you find structures like this, a lot of times they're buried underground. But these are common enough that you can almost build a shape of the civilization that once must have thrived here. A lot of their structures... Sorry, Photoshop just crashed on me. Don't do it, Photoshop.
It's nobody's fault.
A lot of their structures are built out of a very smooth, almost chalky kind of stone that doesn't lend itself to crumbling very well. You see what might have been foundations for buildings or towers or other structures, and the breaks on these rocks, they look clean, like all at once they've been sheared through and slid to the ground and crashed down there. So lots of kind of strangely out of place cuboid blocks litter the countryside from time to time. This gives you the opportunity to put your back to a wall when you camp for a night. Sometimes it gives you the opportunity to give you high ground to get on top of to get a better lay of the land. And then you find, as you get a little closer, as you start following the river north, what's our plan for crossing the river here?
How wide is the river?
Fairly wide. If we consider, I think each one of these hexes was supposed to represent a full day's travel. This is a fairly mighty river. This is world-class river shenanigans here.
Okay. We could just use our wand of water breathing and walk across the bottom.
You could do that, yeah. Is that the plan?
That's just one suggestion. Anybody else got anything else?
How long does water breathing last?
Oh,
A while.
Oh, like a day.
Wow, all
It's
right.
8 hours, I think, maybe 24. And one charge hits multiple people, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And the cold is.
I mean, the main problem is some of us might not be heavy enough to walk across the bottom unless we weight ourselves down.
I'll tell you what, if you're worried that you won't be able to walk across the bottom and you just want to like swim and wind up where you wind up, I could keep watch from the sky of where you wash ashore and help you guys gather back up.
Yeah, I'll still take the water breathing, but I think I'll just swim.
Okay.
Okay. Wendy, would you mind just carrying me across?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And it can hit up to 10 willing creatures. Oh, wow, okay. I thought it was like 3.
No, water breathing is like the most forgiving utilitarian spell it could possibly be.
Okay, well, I'll put water breathing on everybody.
Uh-huh.
Even the ones that aren't
No,
going
just in case. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and yeah.
Bet your god is getting a kick out of this, huh, Raazu? Walk across the bottom of this river.
Osprey has no domain over the rivers. What are you talking about?
It's
Oh.
oceans, Adrex.
It's all water.
It's all just water, yeah.
Raazu looks a little bit.
God, that's basically racist.
No, he's got you there. It's all just water.
Raazu
The
narrows
river
his
goes
eyes
into
pretty
the
bad.
ocean, right?
It's all just water without a bridge.
I mean, come on, she can't be that picky.
But now we know why Wendy bathes in her own urine.
Wait, what?
What?
That's not water, Bricker. Did you think that was water?
And even traveling through this river, some of you on the riverbed, some of you gliding above it, you see these same evidence of these ruined structures built in what is now a riverbed, some of which are still intact enough to poke out of the tops of the water, giving Windy a convenient place to land every so often. And arriving at the other side, you start to see the remnants of what might have been a road, instead of like foundation stones or stones that were once part of a structure or a wall. More like paving stones, many of which are now partially or completely covered with soil or foliage. And the road curves conveniently northward. And that's where you pick up the signs of who's got the highest survival score that's not actively foraging or scouting.
I've got a plus 11.
Oh,
So
I figure Adrex is scavenging.
Yeah, Adrex wouldn't have time for this if he's
Plus
foraging.
11 sounds good to me.
so that would be a 21 passive, I guess.
-5 because it relies on sight.
Okay, so 16.
Still sounds good to me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 16.
You start picking up tracks. And the tracks seem to be avoiding not just these haphazard paving stones you're coming across, but also rocks in general. The tracks are sticking predominantly to soil and grass. And they're not small, but they're supposed to be. And it's a little unnerving before you realize you're tracking a pack of giant rats.
Oh.
That are leading in the same northerly direction that you're headed.
That's good eating.
Hey, Brick,
Yeah.
can I roll nature or survival to figure out just how to try and pinpoint how old these ruins are?
I'll allow either nature or survival for that. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do survival since it's just a tad higher. Perfect. That's I love rolling. Rolling is my favorite thing.
No, you gotta
7.
you gotta get it out now.
It's a 7.
It's tricky to say for sure. I mean, Birdie picked them up, so they, in the middle of broad daylight. So they're pretty obvious. They'd have to be. But yeah, difficult to say how old they are.
Sure is a ruin.
So we go north, right? Do you want to stick on the road or stay off the road? I think we should stay on the road since the creatures seem to be avoiding it. In the absence of any other, like, dangers.
Okay.
Anyone agree or disagree?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, all right.
You keep track of these tracks, and you try to make your way. You try to identify where the road once was, and keep as close to it as you can. And you come across a corpse laying in the tall grass, and it's more of a carapace than a corpse because it's of a giant scorpion, a scorpion the size of a very large dog. And its tail and many of its claws have been severed, and the thing, it looks just like the husk remaining here, dead. And the grass all around where this thing lay is blackened and dying. And there's a very fell odor about it.
Birdie looks at everybody and says, "Why are we going this way again?"
Because we think there might be an evil god at the end of it.
Oh, okay. Wait.
Yeah?
That's a terrible reason.
We can deal with evil gods. It's fine.
So, does anybody want to touch the scorpion? I don't think we should touch the scorpion. I see some red flags there. Does it look like the scorpion fought the rats? Is that what it looks like? It killed it?
Make a... don't make any kind of check. Looking about, you can definitely see the scorpion was killed in battle. You see the wounds, and the wounds, like its tail's is severed, but looking at it, it wasn't severed cleanly as with a blade. It looks like it was torn off with teeth or claws. And it takes a moment to pick up the tracks of these rats on the other side of the scorpion's body. So there must have been a scuffle here of some kind. But there are no dead rats laying around. And you've seen giant rats, and they're bigger than normal rats, but they're still smaller than this enormous scorpion.
So these are like gianter rats.
It's possible.
How many rats are in the pack?
You can't say. You're not sure.
So we have somewhere between 2,000 and 2,000 rats going north.
Right. Could be 3,000, I guess.
That would be a giant rat swarm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they would take half damage from like fire or from piercing.
So Birdie runs up and pokes the scorpion.
No! Like I said, warning signs. Even I have common sense sometimes. Hey, Adrex, why don't you go up and poke that?
On it. What is Adrix poking?
Scorpion. The dead scorpion.
Poke.
What are you poking it with?
Poke. Just his finger.
Poke it with your
His
finger.
glove. His gloved finger.
Gloved.
Armored gloved finger.
That finger's getting more armored by the second.
Make a medicine check.
Stay on the 18. Why would you want to? That is a 10.
A 10. Something very unsettling about this scorpion, as you go up and poke it, is you realize it's just the husk of the thing. No organs inside.
There's no meat. There's no meat on the scorpion, guys.
No meat to it.
Flip
I mean,
it
rat-
over.
You flip it over.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put some weight to it, and it'll kind of collapse to the ground, and parts of it will break away.
Okay.
And it now no longer
it-
resembles a scorpion. It's just laying there in the blackened, dying grass.
Did it molt? Is that a thing scorpions do?
Actually, yeah, I think they do. But like the stinger's there, right?
The stinger's
they don't
laying on the
leave-
ground here, yes.
Yeah, the stinger. What about the venom sac? Red might want that.
I don't think it's there. I think there's no meat. There's nothing to this scorpion except the shell. Any muscles are gone.
So let's assume the rats did this, and if we see any rats, shoot first, ask questions later.
Keep in mind they could be poisonous rats now.
That sounds terrible.
Are you assuming that these giant rats excised the venom sac from the scorpion and then lined their own teeth and claws with it?
Listen, I'm just saying, it's a possibility.
As Brick Road
I mean,
took notes.
That's what I'd do.
That's what Red
Give
would
the
do.
opportunity.
Okay, give me a second. I have to write a whole new stat block now.
Why are we gonna fight these rats?
So what's next?
Let's just keep heading north.
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to just keep an eye out for the rats and continue on.
So
I just put the letter in party chat.
Can I tell how far ahead the rats are from us?
No.
Okay.
You're just following, or you're keeping an eye on their tracks. You're not actually following their tracks. And this one here.
Second the druid leaves the party, Brickard gives us a poisonous fucking giant rat.
Yep. Well, not. Eh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Aha! A map.
A perfectly circular clearing.
No.
Every sass joke, he's gonna spawn another one in.
Oh.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Do you realize how dead we would be if that was what he actually did?
Pretty dead.
We'd be so high level, though.
But we could blame it all on Nodal. So it would be alright.
Because Nodal, by far, is the one who sasses Brickroad the most.
That doesn't sound like me.
In the distance, you see a structure that's larger than other structures in the area. It looks like this might have been the base of a tower or something similar. It's definitely man-made. It's not a natural rock. And they're currently approaching it from the south. Birdie, you eventually come across a dead rat corpse. As you see this structure off in the distance to your north, laying there in the grass. And once again, where the thing lay, the grass around it, the plat life, is blackened and dying, as though the soil has become infertile.
So plague rats, right? Okay. Hey, Adrex, come over and poke this rat.
On it.
What are you poking
Where
with?
are we approaching from on this map?
South.
You haven't actually reached the map yet. You just see this
Okay.
large structure off in the distance. It's currently to your north.
Adrex is about to poke it with his heavily armored gloved finger, but instead takes out his Feymore and pokes it.
Okay. And there's no give as your extremely tiny little sissy dagger goes directly into the side of this dead creature. And again, there's nothing inside. No muscles, no bones, no organs. It's just this dead hunk of flesh kind of moldering in place.
Is there like a wound that all of this stuff might have been extracted from it?
How do we know it didn't explode into rats?
Birdie, make another survival check.
Is it like...
Did my question just get ignored, or is it? Because I'm wondering, is it like
I think that's what this check is answering.
So that would be, you said -5, so that would be 6. That'd be a 10.
It's not -5 to your roll. If you're rolling, it's at disadvantage.
Oh. Okay, well, in that case.
Wow, you did worse than
Oh,
that
man.
4. That's amazing.
13.
And at this point, you lose the tracks. They seem to go every which way from the site of this dead rat, and they just become impossible to track at this point. And you're not able to pick them back up. Raazu, make a medicine check.
Okay. Is that another tab? Sorry. Oh, I was expecting it to be a travesty, but no, it's not a travesty. It's a 16.
A 16. 2 notable wounds that you find. One is a puncture wound on the thing's hindquarters that may have been caused by the giant scorpion's tail. The other is on the thing's schnoz, on the front of its face. Looks like it took a pretty mighty blow from some kind of crushing weapon. It doesn't look like either of these is the wound that killed this creature, though.
Raazu will
Alright.
voice that and kind of just puzzle over it quietly.
I have a very dumb question.
I like dumb questions.
The wound that it's taken to its schnoz, its nose, does it look like it's been taken before or after all of the creature's insides vanished? Because I'm assuming they would look like different blows.
Make me a wisdom animal handling check.
Okay.
How do you do it?
Wisdom animal handling would be a 7.
7. It's difficult to say exactly how old this particular wound is. It did some damage to it. It doesn't look like the blow was strong enough to be the thing that killed this creature, though. If you were attempting to kill this creature, you wouldn't hit it on the snout. You'd hit it in the head. You try to hit it in the skull. You've cracked a lot of skulls over the course of your being lost. There doesn't seem to be any particular wound that suggests this is the thing that caused all of this thing's organs and meat and muscles and bones to vanish.
I'm just saying, what if they turned into rats and he exploded into rats?
If that was the case, then there'd be a large opening in the side of this creature somewhere, and there's not.
I mean, it seems like my hypothesis would be that all of his insides got liquefied somehow and escaped his body.
Giant spider.
But wouldn't they eat the giant rats?
Yeah, if there was a giant spider, wouldn't there be more webbing and stuff, wrapping it up and whatnot?
Giant spider rats.
Giant.
Wendy, I didn't need that in my life.
Giant rat spider.
With a scorpion's venom?
The scorpion's venom. Don't scorpions liquefy things?
And a dragon's breath? Like, are we just going to go even crazier now?
Listen, all of you are my friends, but you are pushing your limits.
Just trying to think of something that could actually liquefy that with pointing. I'm pointing at the rump where the pierce was, and say it looks like maybe it's a giant mosquito.
Again, Birdie, I didn't need this in my life.
Giant mosquito spider. Spiders with wings.
Stop!
What's wrong with you? What eldritch horror can we think of?
I do have
Look,
stat
they're
blocks
just-
for Shogoths.
Besides, they use their webs to fly.
Well, let's keep moving.
Okay. So if you keep moving north, you're going to be approaching this structure. So the question is, how do you want to come up on this structure?
So, how are these there? Is anything on this not here?
You can't tell from this distance.
Okay, never mind.
I'm not giving you any other information about this battle map until you tell me how you're approaching it, like from which direction, so we can determine which side of this map you need to come in from.
I mean,
is there any
we're following.
cover in the outlying area?
The cover is going to be in the form of these like ancient white stones. You'll find like broken pillars or large blocks and things. Surrounding the area, though, is just like knee-high grassland.
Like, which way does it look like the road is traveling?
Make
we're
a
following.
perception check. Let's see if you can pick the road back up.
All right. Let's see, -5. Or is that disadvantage?
It's a disadvantage.
Okay,
Yeah, -5 is only for passives.
right. 24.
24. Takes a while, but you do manage to find the next evidence of this ancient road. It seems to be going the same direction towards this structure.
I mean, Red would just try and do his best to move quietly and without disturbing the grass, dropping below eye level. Probably approach over around here. Looks like there should be a large stone to hide behind.
Okay. And how are the rest of you guys doing?
Seems fine with me.
Can I make a stealth roll there?
Yeah, if you want. And how are Raazu, Adrex, and Windy approaching?
Adrex is hanging back until he gets some sort of signal from the stealthy scouty types.
That's only a 16.
Okay.
I'll roll 2 since he's rolling. That's a 8 plus 13, 21.
Okay. So you guys come up behind. I'm sorry. You're coming up behind one of these pillars here.
Yeah, coming up for that direction, trying to stay out of eyesight in the
I guess
grass, and then move
There
up
would
behind
be
this one.
there would be a pillar right here because there is
Yeah.
a shadow on the ground.
That's where I was going to start.
Okay.
Raazu's hanging back as well with Adrex.
And what you see is what looks like the remnants of an ancient courtyard with these white blocks and pillars all around. The center is this large circular platform raised a good 20 or 30 feet off the ground. It still looks mostly intact. It looks like an enormous statue or some other kind of decorative structure may have sat here once. It doesn't look like this was a building of any kind. And you can't see anything on top of that structure, but you see these figures at the base of it. And it looks like they're just attempting badly to climb it. And they are indeed giant rats. But something seems very wrong with them. I'll let one of you make an wisdom animal handling check.
That
Yeah,
I got
that's-
7.
I can make it. Oh, go
You're
ahead.
not there, though. You're not looking. Also, you don't have
Oh,
eyes.
one of you, meaning one of those two. Got it.
Yeah, one of these two who... Because they got close and they're actually looking.
No, yeah. I make
16.
16?
Yeah.
These rats are attacking in very unrat-like fashion. Rats will attack in a large pack or a swarm. These ones, from this angle, you can see 2 of them individually at the different sides of the structure, and you can hear the scrabbling of a third off in the distance. Their movements are also very unrat-like. There's just something about their muscle mass, the way they're moving their heads, they're not twitching their nose or using their whiskers. They don't seem to notice any discomfort when they're standing on just their hind legs, attempting to find purchase in the side of this structure. Something is very, very off about these giant rats.
How tall are these pillars in comparison to this?
This central structure is a good 20 or 30 feet high. These are mostly just blocks. So these are more like cubic. So let's see. This is one of these would probably be 10 foot by 10 foot by 10 foot.
Okay.
Including the one you're hiding behind now.
I was going to say, if I climbed on top of it, could I see on top of this? But if it's 20 feet tall, probably not.
No, if you were on top of one of these 10-foot blocks, you wouldn't be able to see on top of the structure.
Okay. Are these stairs that can we see over here? Stairs?
If there were stairs, they're not usable anymore.
Okay. Right, because the rats would just use the stairs. Correct. So, Red, do you want to just, kill the rats, or what? What do you want to do? Go around? Do you want to go around?
Yeah, I think we should just go around.
Okay. So, let's go back and get everybody. And then, skirt the edge of the battle map?
Okay, you go back to your companions.
Well, did you figure out what liquefied those things?
No, but the rats are, around... They're trying to climb up this 20-foot tall thing. They could possibly be undead rats. I don't know. Because they're not really, reacting in ways that normal animals would do.
Alright, so how do you want to deal with it?
Not
I
my
can go
rat.
over there to one of those columns, start putting some arrows in them.
Not my rats. Not my problem.
I disagree.
We can't just leave a bunch of undead rats trying to climb some kind of pillar.
They're not hurting anybody.
It seems like exactly the sort of thing we could actually...
What if anyone else comes along? They're just gonna get eaten by undead rats.
Or they could do the smart thing and walk around it too.
What if this has something to do with the Lord of Blades thing we're trying to investigate?
Birdie says, Raazu. Not my rats. Not my problem.
Raazu glares.
I don't want to hear anything out of you after last time.
Raazu just glares at Birdie.
All right, well that sounds good then. If we're going to go over there and start shooting rats, I'll see if I can't get a good hiding spot and pick a few off with my own bow.
Right? We could just climb up on the stones and start doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're saying they have a hard time climbing, I could do what I can to help you guys get up higher. Maybe they won't even be able to attack you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, seems like if we figure out what these creatures are about while they're still alive, and then maybe just after they die, we'll see what happens with their innards, as it were.
Science, I guess.
Yeah, you love science, Birdie.
No, I don't. I think I love the opposite of science.
Besides, don't you want to know how that, scorpion got liquefied?
Not
Birdie.
particularly, no.
Don't you... You're the one who has been constantly chopping at the bit and screeching and peeing your pants every single time we find some kind of magical doodad.
These are not magical doodads. They're giant rats that...
This is completely unexplained and weird phenomena, and you're not curious? Where
They could
are
be
you?
magic
What have you done
undead
with
rats.
Birdie?
The rats are bigger than me. They can eat me. Therefore, I am not interested.
I'm bigger than you and I could eat you.
You don't have the right teeth. Actually, wait. Probably does.
He's got a point.
Yeah, she actually kind of does.
They sound evil. We should look into it.
Red just sort of shrugs and flips his bow off his shoulder. He disappears back into the grass and starts sneaking over to this side.
Go ahead and
Pretty
place
scrap-
yourselves on how you want to approach this central column.
Birdie asks for a boost to the
Yeah.
to the column.
I'll boost you up to one of these columns. Where do you want to be? Which column?
I don't know. You can just put me down wherever you set. You're gonna shoot your bow too, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just put me down wherever you're gonna go.
Alright, when everyone else is ready, I'll drop with Birdie over here.
Should I make another stealth check or just keep using that 16?
You can take that 16, it's fine.
Yeah.
And Wendy, you're going to fly in from here?
Yeah, once everyone else is ready.
Adrex will go up behind this column here.
Adrex and Raazu are behind the block.
Yeah, Roz is gonna go around from this side.
And where? I lost red.
Yep.
That means
That's the
he's doing his
point.
job.
That's the point.
Oh, I see him over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Red, from this angle, you can clearly see the third rat that you only heard earlier, and then see a fourth one as well.
Mhm.
Fourth rat.
And you all get
And
into
it's
position,
probably-
and at these distances, these creatures don't seem to have given you no never mind. They don't even seem to notice that you're here.
All right, let's plink at some rats.
Yeah,
See.
okay.
All right, let's roll some initiative.
This is a roll initiative thing. Nice.
I don't
Good
have to
initiative
move.
roll. Good initiative roll.
Wow. I'm upset the rats beat my initiative roll.
Oh, I should actually put myself on the thing.
Wendy, you're first.
All right, I'm gonna toss out a couple sharpshooter shots at this rat right here.
Okay, he is... Okay.
Rats. All right, that is a. Sorry, give me 1 second here.
Take two.
13 and 15.
The 15 will hit.
All right, that will do. Get out that D8. $22 magical piercing.
So one of your arrows clatters against the pillar, and the other one pierces the hindquarters of this rat. Are we moving or staying put?
I'm staying put here. I'm not going to abandon Birdie.
You sure?
You can always do it later. It's fine.
Yeah. Always does it in the end.
Okay. It's going to bring us to my rats. Beautiful. And how much do they have here? Sorry, I have to do some measurements in my
If they
head.
spit acid, I'm sorry, guys.
It's like, what, 30 feet of movement?
Come around this block here. And these also come around this block here. Okay.
Wow.
I need Birdie
Big
and
move.
Wendy to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, jeez.
That would be a 26.
And Wendy?
Oh, same roll.
Yes.
That would be a 16.
16. Okay. 14 points of acid damage. Which, Wendy, you can cut in half for making your save, and Birdie, you can ignore because you've made your save.
Oh, I can also ignore it.
Birdie, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
They did spit acid, didn't they?
Wait, is that actually acid damage? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Acid damage, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
you
apologize
did.
in advance, so none of you can hold this against me.
That's a 27.
And as soon as Wendy's arrow pierces the back of this thing, soundlessly and with much more speed than you would have expected, much more coordination, the creatures break off from the tower. These two come very close, and they arc this burst of acid up into the air onto the block where you're standing. Raazu and other guy, you watch as two of the rats abandon their post to come dashing around the corner. And Red, you find yourself suddenly very lonely.
Fine with me.
Adrex, are they charging at us?
Mm.
No, they're coming around this block and going towards Windy and Birdie.
Ooh, good. We can flank them.
Birdie, you're up.
Let's see. Okay, well, I guess Sammy Davis Jr. here was the one that Windy attacked, right?
Sammy Davis Jr. What?
I don't know who did that.
What?
Yes! Good job, Nodal. Well done.
That
Not
won't me.
enough rat puns.
Oh, that wasn't you?
Won't me.
Destil.
I'd love to take credit for it.
No,
Can't.
I totally. I mean, A, I would have misspelled some of them, and B, there would have been rat puns. So.
That is a rat pun. That's a rat pack. It is a rat pun.
Oh, okay.
This is the one that was
Oh.
shot. Yeah, Sammy Davis Jr.
I rolled a 1, so that puts it up to.
You rolled a 1. That puts an arrow nowhere useful. That's going to bring us
Yep.
to Adrex. Adrex,
Hello.
now, these guys are currently running towards their position, but they went from not being aware of anybody's position to immediately knowing where Windy was firing from instantly. So thinking you're going to charge out from behind this block and have the element of surprise probably isn't going to work given what you've seen.
Well, it's a good thing I'm not a rogue anymore.
Not my class, not my problem.
I know what you meant, but I immediately thought, like, just pictured Adrix saying that, like he spent like 6 months as a rogue, and just decided it wasn't for him.
All right. First attack on Dean Martin here.
Okay.
Every time. That's the third time.
It's kind of beautiful. 14.
14 will hit.
14 will hit.
What are you attacking with?
This would be the.
That's our number, folks.
The Famor?
Yeah, I think it was Famor.
Okay.
Oh, but Rickard said he's not tracking that kind of stuff, so yeah, it's the Famor.
I'm tracking what you're holding in your hands.
Yes, but in terms of. All right, so that is
Being a jackass.
6 plus 2d6.
You never said you lit it.
8 fire damage.
Oh wait, how much slashing? Or not
That
slashing,
is
piercing? Sorry.
6 piercing
Okay.
and 8 fire. And
Take 4 points of acid damage. As you pierce into this thing's hide, and this spurt of acid sprays out, coats your arm. Would you like to take another melee attack against this creature?
Well, before I do that,
Mhm.
please make a strength saving throw, DC 17.
They're bad at these. But he passed. 20. Holy crap.
It's the wrong die. I get these now.
Yay!
You still take 2 damage.
2 damage?
And
Okay.
that's it. 2 damage. So I gotta. Alright, second attack. That is a 17.
17 will hit. Go ahead and take 8 points of acid damage.
That hurts a little bit more.
As every time you pierce into this thing's hide, another spurt of acid from inside bursts out as though under great pressure.
This one. That is 9 Wait. Is that right? 9 piercing? That doesn't sound right.
9 piercing?
8 piercing plus another 7 fire damage.
Okay.
And you know what? Go ahead and remake that strength saving throw, please.
16.
Not good enough. Another 10 damage.
Okay.
And Dean Martin is prone.
And as you knock this thing to the ground, it doesn't scrabble back to its feet like a rat would, like getting its feet under him and find its claws finding purchase in the soil and pushing its legs up. It's more like you bowl this thing over like a water balloon, and it flops to the ground, and its whole skin and all of its features spin unnaturally around its just inner liquid mass, and it is immune to the prone effect.
You say it's immune to the prone effect?
Cannot be knocked prone.
Bummer.
But it was really cool to look at.
Rat jello.
And you did a whole bunch of extra damage to it. Moving or staying put?
Offhand attack.
Okay.
This is my regular sword. My regular silvered sword.
Okay.
For...
Is the sword armored?
14 to hit.
14 will hit. Go ahead and take 10 points of acid damage.
That's escalating. Okay. That's more and more each time. And that is... 6 damage.
Okay.
And now Adrex is in trouble.
And you're staying put there?
Yeah, right, because it took 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it took all of Adrex to get there.
It's going to bring us to red.
Am I reading this correctly that the pillars are blocking any shot I would have on any of these rats?
You could climb on top of the pillar, and then you'd have a clear shot to this one or this one.
Mm-hmm.
If you climbed on top of the pillar. But you'd have to give up your stealthy advantage if you wanted to do that.
Cunning action dash.
Okay.
Is this like a depression?
No, this is the big 30-foot wall. That's,
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm going to draw a terrible circle here. It just kind of follows this outline. It's made of that same white chalky structure. It looks like it goes up about 30 feet, and then it just tapers off at the top.
Would I be above it if I go up to the top of these stairs?
There's not actually any stairs.
Oh.
That's just solid.
If I climb this pillar, would I be above it?
No, this pillar is 10 foot tall, and the structure is about 20 or 30 feet.
Let me do that again then, because I misunderstood the terrain.
That's the downside to finding random maps on Google image search. Is sometimes the stuff on the map's not actually there.
Move to here, cunning action, hide.
Okay.
Say stealth of 30. No, 34.
Okay. The 34 is 30 is the highest. You can't be higher than 30. That's the highest number. From a stealth position here, you can easily get this one or this one.
Mm-hmm. That's the end of Red's turn.
Okay. Red, what is your passive perception?
Not great. 17.
17?
Yes.
Okay. Looking at the top of the structure, so 30 feet overhead, just peeking over the top, you can just see a nose and some whiskers. Just kind of peering down.
Mm-hmm.
And only for a moment before it retreats backwards. Actually, no, your stealth was amazing. It doesn't have any idea you're there. Yeah, from your position looking up, all you can see is a nose and some whiskers poking out from the top of this white structure. And that's going to bring us to Raazu.
Is that on top of it, or is there like a window or across?
No, way up top, so a good 30 feet up over your head. You'd have to climb this sheer wall to get up there.
30 feet gets me there. Can I attack with a whip from there?
You sure can.
Okay, I will do that then.
Oh no.
That is a 26 to hit.
That'll hit. Adrex, 2 points of acid damage.
Okay.
That's just rude.
Raazu, you are safely
Alright.
outside of the splash radius of this passive damage.
Okay. Let's put some Paladin stank on that damage here.
Okay.
You know what? Let's go 2d6. What? Come on, dice. Work with me here. What are you? Okay. Dice. Dice are being dice, Brickard. Sorry. That's 6 slashing damage and 11 thunder damage to Dean Martin.
Okay, and Dean Martin is bloody, but when you hear the crack of the whip, a spray of acid spurts out and hits Adrex.
Okay, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and throw a javelin at this one.
Okay.
Peter Lawford.
Sure.
Alright, that's a 22 to hit
22 will hit.
for 5 damage. 5 piercing damage.
Okay. And again, you see a spurt of acid blast out from the wound, but there's nobody standing there. Is that the end of Rasu's turn?